The Frindle Files by Andrew Clements, Chapter 10, A Friendly Day. Thursday morning, Mr. N collected the ELA homework, glanced at the top paper, and laughed out loud. Allie, you used a word here I haven't seen before, then he read. When I asked for directions to the Eiffel Tower, the man gave me a friendly look. Does friendly mean angry? Allie shook her head. It means strange or weird. Oh, I see, said Mr. N. And where did you learn this word? Josh wanted to sneak a glance at Vanessa, but didn't dare. Allie said, I got it from my friends. I guess it's slang. Mr. N looked back at Allie's paper and then began flipping through the other assignments, stopping now and then to read out loud. It was so friendly to be walking up these narrow stairs inside of a giant green statue. Then I found the friendliest part of the whole museum. I had to put on this friendly suit before they let me float toward the space station. I saw these friendly animals called llamas. He laughed again. It looks like friendly is the word of the day, so let's get to know it better. Mr. N wheeled his chalkboard over beside his desk, picked up a piece of yellow chalk, and began to write. It's spelled F-R-I-N-D-Y, friendly, which rhymes with windy, and friendly means strange or weird. Who can tell me what part of speech it is? Hands went up and Mr. N said, Emery, it's an adjective. Good. And what does an adjective do? Liam? An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. Yes. And what are some different ways adjectives can describe things or people? Rachel? They can tell which, what kind of, or how many. Excellent. And which of these jobs does friendly do? Jack? It tells what kind of. Correct. Now, what about that one I read? The friendliest part of the whole museum. Who can tell me what's going on there? Vanessa? Josh tensed up, but Vanessa was calm and clear. Adjectives can change like that by adding ER or EST. And there are special names for these, but I can't remember them. Anyone else recall? No hands. Okay, said Mr. N. Here's the review. When something is more friendly than some other thing, then you can add ER to make what's called the comparative form. Except since friendly ends with the letter Y, first you have to change the Y to I before you add the ER. And if something is the most friendly, you can add EST to make what's known as the superlative form of the adjective. And again, you change the Y to I before you add the suffix. Now, everyone please take out a sheet of paper and a pencil, and we'll do a quick review on adjectives, and then we'll see if we can figure out some friendly new ways to use this word. As Vanessa turned to reach for her backpack, she looked at Josh with her tongue hanging out, as if she were about to throw up. Josh felt the same way, but then he began thinking like a programmer, asking questions and breaking the situation into smaller chunks of information. When Mr. N first saw the word friendly, instead of looking upset or getting mad, he had laughed. Why? To hide how upset he was? Or did he really think it was funny? Josh wasn't sure. Then Mr. N had read more papers and kept smiling. Why? He didn't seem upset or worried, not a bit. He thought it was actually funny. And right now, Mr. N was turning friendly into a lesson. Why? Instantly, Josh understood. He's trying to kill it. This is word murder, death by grammar. Mr. N was going to grind friendly into chalk dust and blow it away with the windy noise of his own talking. 10 more minutes of this and no kid would ever want to use Josh's made-up word again. And Mr. N was loving every second of it because he was not going to make the mistakes that Nick Allen's teacher had made. This friendly thing was too much like what that boy had done years and years ago. But unlike Mrs. Granger, Mr. N was ready to sideline the word and the person behind it. Josh remembered that picture of Mrs. Granger from the newspaper article he'd found online. She'd been wearing a dark skirt and jacket, standing stiff and straight, her gray hair pulled back, her sharp eyes aimed directly at the camera. That lady was tough, totally old school. She was probably why the expression old school had been invented. Josh felt like the classroom lights suddenly got brighter, and in a moment of dazzling clarity, he saw that Mrs. Granger was like an early video game, maybe Teacher version 1.0, a single-person program that made it impossible for the user to do anything other than one thing. But Nick Allen had hacked Mrs. Granger's program and accomplished something completely different, something great. In fact, that made him famous. And Mr. N, this guy was an advanced version, a next generation video game, more like Teacher version 8.3. With his Hawaiian shirts and silly dance moves, he was more user-friendly, and he probably thought the Teacher 8.3 was perfect, unhackable. Turning the tables on Person X and Friendly had proven that, right? Wrong, because person X knew something person Y didn't. The game wasn't over, and X had pulled a secret lever, opened a hidden door, and dashed up a blazing staircase into a whole new level. A level that wasn't about Mr. N and his Frindle secret anymore. This part of the game was about something bigger, about something happening right now, not 20 years ago. Today's Friendly experiment was only a warm-up, like a preview episode on an Xbox at Walmart. The real game was just beginning. Goodbye.